What's up everybody, welcome to Money Management channel. My name is Andrei and today I'm gonna be doing an update on MMTLP and FINRA saga.
I got the cash in the bag, stadium packed, born a rock star in this life, gonna live it up on.
And today's video will be for 100% dedicated the answer of Gary Gensler to the questions, to the letter that was written back in December of 2023. And I have to say that this answer, again, is miserable and pathetic. And I will show you what should we expect next. And I will show you the direct speech from Ralph Norman in his interview to Charles Payne, where he explains what we should expect next. So, and before we dive deep into all of this, guys, please hit the like button. It is very important for me to see this support from you, from my viewers. And on top of that, it gives us an opportunity to spread this information to as many people as we can. That is why, guys, just hit the like button. So, as you can see, we are on Ralph Norman's official Twitter account, and he published this tweet just 10 hours ago, and he wrote, "Just received this empty response from the SEC regarding MMTLP. 6 days late and worthless. Completely unacceptable." So, as you can see, he added these screenshots. It is just basically one-page letter with the 3 paragraphs. The entire information is in these 3 paragraphs. And I have to admit that Gary Gensler and SEC didn't want to write this letter. The only explanation why they've done it is that they saw the answer from FINRA that was published on January 31st, at the very last day of the deadline that was set by the bipartisan open letter. And because of this answer, Gary Gensler and SEC tried to do their answer, but this answer is even worse than the answer from FINRA. So, let me quote you some details. We basically have only 3 main paragraphs, and I have to admit that all of these facts are ridiculous. Let me quote you first of all this tiny paragraph. "Respectfully, requests for information sought by FINRA and for analysis performed by FINRA are best answered by FINRA." So guys, this paragraph is showing us that SEC and Gary Gensler are incompetent in their job, and I have to admit that it is nothing else but an attempt to throw FINRA under the bus. But at the same time, Gary Gensler and SEC admitted that they cannot do their job. And guys, I have so many emotions in regards to this paragraph alone, but let me continue. That said, the SEC's Division of Examination, through its FINRA and Securities Industry Oversight Program, conducts examination of FINRA to assess its compliance with applicable laws and regulations, as well as to promote fairness, efficiency, and effectiveness in its operations. While I cannot comment on any particular examination of our FSIO program, has the role to assess whether FINRA followed its own rules and policies and adequacy of those rules, and whether they are implemented fairly and without influence from conflicts of interest. And guys, I see a lie in this paragraph because and I will show you this later. We have a very good due diligence again from Rare DD, where he explained that they violated another rule by not mentioning a record day and pay and distribution date in the corporate action notice. But let's continue with this letter. So, the second paragraph, regarding the share count information you request. So, interestingly enough, but Gary Gensler decided to answer to the question number, let me show you, number 9 of the bipartisan open letter. And why they didn't decide to answer to other questions, it doesn't make sense. But let me quote you further. Regarding the share count information you request, I know that next breach included information about the number of MMTLP shares outstanding in its public disclosures in connection with the next breach MMTLP corporate action. So, It is not the answer to the question, it is just a lie, because our question was about the share imbalance on the broker-dealer side, and we know how many shares were issued by MMTLP and NextBridge hydrocarbons. So, let me quote you further. The consolidated audit trail CAT data and blue sheets you reference in your letter contain non-public regulatory information regarding transactions. This information permits the Commission and Securities Self-Regulatory Organization to conduct timely and thorough surveillance and enforcement inquiries. So, non-public regulatory information. And guys, again, it is a pure lie, because we know that this information might be disclosed by FOIA requests, and we already know several cases with this disclosure. And in general, it is not so difficult for SEC and for FINRA to disclose this information. We know that former SEC officers explained how they can publish this information. It might happen within just a couple of seconds, literally couple of seconds, by pressing just several buttons. So let me quote you further. The information in the SAT and blue sheets is kept confidential and generally is protected by exemptions to the Freedom of Information Act. So, again, we have one paragraph, and Gary Gensler and SEC lied 3 times in this paragraph, because this information is not confidential, especially for Congress, because Congress gave all the power to SEC and FINRA in order to regulate the markets, and that is why Congress members have all rights to know this information. And as you can see, SEC and Gary Gensler is still trying to hide behind the wall of their total immunity, and I think it will not happen anymore. So, the last paragraph. As for your questions regarding whether there is evidence of any violations of particular securities laws or SEC rules, as a matter of policy, the Commission conducts enforcement investigations on a confidential basis and generally does not acknowledge the existence or non-existence of an investigation unless or until charges are filed. We do so to protect the integrity of our investigations, safeguard the privacy of witnesses, and avoid damaging the reputation of persons who may not be charged. Accordingly, I cannot comment specifically on certain matters raised in your letter. I assure you that the Commission's staff carefully will consider the information included in your correspondence in connection with our statutory and regulatory responsibilities. So again, another lie, and let me show you this. Gary Gensler and SEC stated that the Commission conducts enforcement investigation on a confidential basis and generally does not acknowledge the existence or non-existence of any investigation unless or until charges are filed. And guys, remember when Gary Gensler was asked by the Congress for the first time, I think it was somewhere in late September of 2023, where Gary Gensler directly stated that it is an investigation on MMTLP case. And that is why he lied. He lied whether on September 23rd, I guess, of 2023, in his hearings in front of the Congress, or he lied here in this letter. And that is why this letter doesn't make sense, and that is why Ralph Norman wrote this tweet that it is completely unacceptable, with capital letters. So, and let me show you another fact that they made a statement that misled the Congress. So, the information in the SEC and blue sheets is kept confidential and generally is protected by exemptions to the Freedom of Information Act. Let me show you this. It is their own rules. It is Act of 1934, and let me show you this in details. As you can see, it is the screenshot of Securities Exchange Act, and it is the Section 7, Authority of Commission to limit disclosure of information. And let me quote you this. Nothing in this subsection shall authorize the Commission to withhold information from Congress or prevent the Commission from complying with a request for information from any other federal department or agency requesting information for purposes within the scope of its jurisdiction, or complying with an order of a court of the United States in an action brought by the United States or the Commission. And this is another evidence that this letter was written in a hurry. And they didn't want to write this letter. They didn't answer to any questions of this bipartisan open letter. And I have to admit that Gary Gensler will definitely be fired from the head of Securities and Exchange Commission. It is just a matter of time. And let me show you what did Ralph Norman say in his interview on Fox Business. And it is quite a long interview of 4 minutes, but we are interested only in 2 parts of this interview. That is why I cut it in order to show you Ralph Norman's answers directly related to MMTLP saga only.
Let's go to the latest on metamaterials. We have documents from Robert W. Cook, President and Chief Executive Officer from FINRA, to the Honorable Ralph Norman. Can you tell us what's going on here?
Well, first of all, Charles, this started because we had an investor that was in tears because he couldn't get any information on the over-the-counter stock he purchased. And, you know, we started getting involved. We wrote FINRA, we wrote the SEC. FINRA responded, and get this, Charles, we wrote the letter in December and gave them until January 31st. FINRA responded on January 31st. SEC with Gary Gensler have not heard one word on, you know, what's the share count? What's the status of it? How about the 8 that were indicted or that were charged with trying to manipulate the market through the social media? That's the SEC's role. Our next step will probably be to write the AST and try to get some answers from them. But it's a sad day when 2 governmental agencies, and FINRA gave us answers, but it was just words. But we need to hear from the SEC. The next step is to hold a hearing and get some accountability on it, and so we'll see.
Their arrogance is so mind-boggling. It's so painful because most investors believe the SEC is there to protect them, and it feels like, no, they're there to protect a broken system. Real quick, is there a timeline with this SEC? I know you had the timeline. FINRA waited right to the last moment. I guess the SEC blew past there, so there's no timeline. How can you exert more pressure on them?
Call for a hearing, and only the chairman can do that. I'm going to go to Patrick McHenry, who's chair of financial services, and really James Comer of oversight, and let's get a hearing. Let's get him in. He came back months ago, and when we asked him the questions about metamaterials, Next Bridge, you know, hydrocarbons, who they merged with, and he didn't have any answers. That's his job. Yeah. He's collecting taxpayers' money on a job he's not doing.
At some point, the individual investors got to be protected. We really thank you for everything that you're doing down there. Congressman Norman, thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you.
All right, folks.
So guys, as you can see, we are about to see at least a hearings, and then potentially we might see a subpoena. On top of that, Ralph Norman has several questions to AST as well. And this means, because of all of this information, I think we will see some kind of resolution very soon. And definitely it will be in our favor. Because this huge tsunami of questions, no one can stop. And that is why, guys, we have to push this case forward no matter what. And that is why, guys, if you like my video, please hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and drop me a line in the comment section if you think my videos are valuable for the community. So, see you guys and girls next time. Bye!
I got the cash in the bag, stadium packed. Born a rock star in this life, gonna live it up on the attack. Baby, I'm bad, I just wanna get caught up in this life. I'm crazy, I'm mad, doing no cap. Only God wants you.